Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed is a spiritual crossing of the threshold to the world of being a truly expanded human being. Join mediums Cheryl and Kelley for conversations about discovering deep spirituality, developing your intuitive and empathic skills, and personal mediumship. Each episode will focus on tips, tools, and techniques to help you understand and expand your own inner gifts of life journey. Now, your host of Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, Kelley and Cheryl.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. I love seeing all of my colleagues and my special guest today. I missed you last week, Kelley. I just want to welcome everyone to today's program, Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. So happy to be back this week. Myself, Kelley was holding down the fort with another special guest, but really today is going to be a special episode. So I hope everyone's here. I hope everyone listens. We're going to be talking about healing through the holidays. But first, I do want to say hello to Kelley Eckhart, and then we'll introduce our special guest today. Hi, Kelley.
Hi, and we missed you last week, Cheryl, but let me just say that, oh my gosh, who was it? Lori and I, we couldn't stop talking the whole show. Like we were little yabbermouths, and we had a blast, but we missed you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I listened to the replay, and I enjoyed it just as much. So great job. Everyone, I do want to introduce you. You guys may know, a lot of you people that tune into WLTK-DB radio, you may know our special guest for today, DeEtte Ranae. She does a show here on the radio station. She's on Mondays, I believe, Monday mornings. And I've had the pleasure of being a guest on her show. And Kelley, I think you've been on.
Yes, I have. I've been on her show before, yes.
So everyone, we'd love to introduce you to psychic medium DeEtte Ranae. She has a great teacher of mediumship, beginning through advanced. We'll be finding out what's up with her and where she is, and really getting her ideas and advice on healing through the holidays as well, because we know it can be really tough this time of year on some people. So DeEtte, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure. It's lovely to have you, and thanks for being with us. I know that the three of us know a lot of people in the industry, so to speak, but it's nice that we still get to share ideas and learn from our experiences as mediums, as psychics, as intuitives, really about how we can even help our listeners really getting through the holidays. That's today's topic is, because DeEtte, I want to ask you, so many people are sensitive right now, right? We have so many people awakening and they're empaths, and maybe it's their first time that they're aware how sensitive they are. So with all the energies happening, and what advice can you offer people getting through the holidays? How do we get through this, through the Christmas, the New Year? We have Hanukkah around the corner.
Can I just interject real quick? DeEtte, can you also tell us, you're a psychic medium, you're a teacher, but you're also a healer, right?
I am. Yeah, I do. And I don't bring that up very often. So you know what? Which this weekend, I don't
remember.
Know you remember. And do you remember Torin? Do you know who Torin is?
A lady or a guy?
A woman, Torin Anthony.
Was she at the Lisa Williams workshop that week in Texas?
No,
with you?
No.
Okay,
but
no,
she
I
is
didn't
one of the
meet her
master
then.
teachers. So I thought maybe you knew who she was.
Maybe, yeah.
So she's considered just this master healer, and I got to spend this last week with her, and oh my God, I got to do a lot of healing, so it was awesome. But yeah, I am a healer also, so yeah.
So this advice comes from not just a medium, but a healer. That's why I just wanted to interject.
Yeah. So go ahead, Cheryl.
I was just going to say also, not only are you a healer, a medium, and intuitive, but you grew up from a very early age with these abilities. So I know I want to ask you about that too. And and share with our listeners, how it happened to you, how you got on the path, so to speak.
Right. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's like two different questions, but yeah. So let's start with the first one. I'm like, oh my God, brain. So the first one, literally, when you were talking about the holidays and going through this, I'm going to suggest to people learn how to breathe. Just learning how to breathe. That's something we don't do. I always told people, when I quit smoking 8-9 years ago, I quit breathing. I don't know if that makes sense. And everybody's like, what do you mean? Well, smokers take
I
these
know what
deep
you mean.
breaths, take our time. They make sure they get their breaks, all those wonderful things. And when I quit smoking, I stopped taking breaks for myself. I stopped giving to myself, and I stopped deep breathing, and that's one thing I find with a lot of people is our energy, we build it up and we build it up and we build it up, but we don't expel it back out. And breath really is the key to everything, so
It is.
people need to learn how to breathe. Just breathing, it's going to calm your nerves, calm to relax. You can get through anything,
I agree. It took me till I was 40 to learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
We're talking about chest breathing because that's where anxiety or
But to get that diaphragm down low, it took me till I was 40 till I realized I have not been breathing properly, and that's probably why I had so much anxiety. Yeah. It's very, very important. And when I feel any anxiety, that's the first thing I do is I practice my breathing in through my nose, down deep into my diaphragm, and breathing out through my mouth. Yes, it helps.
Exactly. And people that are awakening, I don't think that they're awakening. I love that term, but I think they've already been awake. They're just getting to be understanding of it. They're starting to understand that, all of these things, they're a birthright. We were born, and there's not a person that wasn't born with abilities, but we were all also born with a set of parents or grandparents that went, shh, to little kid, all those proper etiquette things growing up, so I don't think people are awakening. I almost think they're reclaiming themselves, so
finding our voice.
Oh my gosh, I'm okay to have tickle tummies, and I'm okay to know what's going to go on. It's okay that I can talk to my dead grandma, whatever this. You love my term. That's why they call me unfiltered. I have no etiquette in my speech.
Same here. Cheryl can attest.
So it's one of those things. So I think people are reclaiming themselves. I don't think they're reawakening. They're just reclaiming who they are. And then we're saying, oh my gosh, it's okay to be who we are. It's okay to be, we're no more weirdos and wackos standing on the streets and hiding behind curtains, with the little balls, that we are who we are.
Yes, I agree. Finding our voices, because as children and as girls, we were taught at an early age that, our voice doesn't matter, and to be quiet and not to speak up. And, my favorite term as a child was, oh, you have such a great imagination, Kelley. No more TV, like you're taking this too far, things like that. But I mean, I was telling them about dead people and where they were buried when I was 3, and I was getting told that I couldn't watch the news or the TV anymore, and I had a good imagination.
Yeah.
Instead of embracing my gift, and I learned early on that I had to, quiet it.
Yeah. And it's incredibly crazy, isn't it? So
yeah. Society is going in a shift.
It really is. And I was actually speaking with somebody earlier today about I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound whacked out because it was when I heard it. She was talking about my show, and I said, yeah, I ask everybody everything except for maybe their underwear color. And she goes, oh, I'll ask that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. And she goes, she grew up and she lives in Hollywood, and she's around a lot of famous people. And she is told to always have a pair of dark blue underwear. Always have a pair of dark blue underwear. And I went, why?
Why?
And
why?
That was She's like, no, a lot of celebrities do it too. And I'm like, what is this about? Like, is this a secret to wealth? I mean, I'll go buy it like a truckload if I have to.
Yeah, me too.
She was like, no, for some reason, she goes, she doesn't know it because one, it was a power color. But one thing was like, when you put it next to all the red, orange chakra, for some reason, it almost was dynamic. And I told her, I said, well, that I guess makes sense.
All right, I said, I'm getting blue undies.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like blue. I don't like blue at all. She goes, neither do I. She's like, neither do I. And I'm like, I honestly kind of wonder because I was always told to shush when I was, I have this mouth that doesn't know how to quit. So I was always told to shush when I was a kid. Shh, 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 shh. And
Yeah,
it's, I
yeah.
think because of my throat chakra, I've learned to hate the color blue. And she goes, my whole life it was speak up, speak up, speak up. And she doesn't like the color blue either, which does relate to the throat chakra. So I
Interesting.
was kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a theory. It's a nice theory.
Well, I think that's a great idea. I mean, I why not? What's the point? I mean, like, let's put crystals in our underwear. I don't care. Like whatever.
We already jingle up here. We don't need to. Cheryl's like, this is, I came back too early for this conversation.
Breathe.
I don't know how we got here, but I love you, DeEtte.
Yeah, I'm just going to breathe through that. Let me just take a breath here.
It's a
All the
new
way down.
therapist. It's a new therapist. Blue crystals in the panties. There we go. We're marketing that one.
There we go. Oh my God.
It'll be for sale on my website soon.
There you go. Welcome the holidays. Laughter. Laughter works.
You read my mind. Laughter is another one that is very healthy to do anytime. Anytime. I think laughter might be
trying to do this someplace else.
Oh my God, I can't talk right now. Oh my gosh. Will dark blue underwear with crystals work? Yes.
The ratings just went up, guys. The
Say that
ratings
with
just went up.
Complete confidence. Yes.
Yes.
I have no idea. But you know what? If you believe it, it works, right?
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yeah, honestly.
If you're just tuning in, we're not like this normally, but we're enjoying it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's all about getting through the holidays and what works. Breathing and laughter, breathing and laughter. Although that will be now I'm going to definitely get the white elephant gift of getting that for somebody for the tree this year.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because we're doing the white elephant gift. So maybe I will get those blue underwear with crystals.
It's a great idea.
Oh my gosh, that'll be awesome.
And then I'll give them a recording of today's show. Oh my gosh.
How did you begin? How did you begin because you're a psychic medium, you teach mediumship, you do readings privately, I believe. You're still doing readings, individual readings, one-on-one on Zoom and by phone, and
yes,
great.
All of it. I also do medical intuitive. But I think that's because of my background. Yeah.
How did I get started? Right?
I was. I retired.
I remember this. I remember.
February 10th, 2020, I was done, never to return unless I'm really hungry. God bless the people that are still doing the job. I couldn't do it anymore. But I did put 21 years in for anybody that was wondering. It was a long time. But literally, I started this life, like anybody says, from the beginning. I mean, you were born with this and whatnot. And I was always that kid that really kind of just knew everything. I mean, my mother would just say, DeEtte, shut up. You don't know everything. Teachers would say, put your hand down. We haven't even asked the question yet. I mean, I was just that kid on the psychic level that truly, I seemed to always be ahead of everybody else. And honestly, I don't think I had many friends. I mean, I didn't fit in. I won't say I was bullied, but I definitely I always felt like I had nobody at all, And then when I was 9 years old, my grandmother went into the hospital. And for anybody that's over the age of 50, may remember back in the day when you had to be a certain age before you could go upstairs. They had to have a maturity level before you could go upstairs in the hospital. And I was 9 and that age was 13. So I didn't know what the hospital looked like. And in a dream, my grandmother came to me a dream and told me all about, the body and spirit. And I can tell you most of the dream I don't remember. I mean, what kid is listening to a grandma in a dream when you got this hospital to explore? It's taboo, And I remember getting to the last door though, and she opened up the door and she goes, "Who's that?" And it got my attention because in the dream, I looked at the bed and there's this old lady in there in tubes and hoses all across her. And I looked at her and said, "Grandma, that's you. It looks like you." And she goes, "But who am I?" And I clearly remember looking at her going, "I'm confused."
Yeah.
And that's when she explained to me the difference between the body and the soul. And she told me her body was no longer working and that her soul was going back to heaven, basically.
That's
and
beautiful.
I'm like, okay. Yeah. Well, then she told me not to be afraid because that was what I was going to do, was talk to souls. And that was going to be what I did for a living. That was what I was going to do the rest of my life. And that was, I woke up that morning, of course, told my mom, Grandma died. And I got DeEtte, shut up. You don't know everything. She is not. And a few minutes later, the phone rang, and sure enough. But for years after that, it was just dreams. If I had a dream about you dying, nobody wanted to know about it because your days were numbered. You had a week or less, so
Yeah.
figure out your will back in the day. But it took me years. I mean, I dabbled like everybody else does. I mean, tarot cards, Ouija boards, pendulums. You find it, I did it. I mean, we had fun, didn't we? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody jumps into that. And it wasn't until, and I struggled with life. I will throw my hand up to tell everybody I am a person that I struggle with life. I always have until I think maybe even now I do, because it's a matter of not quite fitting in, not knowing where you belong, And then I found Reiki. I found that, and became a Reiki master and a Reiki master teacher. And then I decided I never wanted to teach it because to me the responsibility of teaching that was just too much. And I did that for a while, and it was lots of fun. And I'm kind of revisiting back to it, but I can't really say it's Reiki anymore. It's just morphed into something all of its own. I don't even think I can put. Oh yeah, I couldn't put a label on it if my life depended on it.
It's just healing. Like we're all. It's individual. Healing. I feel. Yeah,
it is. But I will tell you what. It was a great tool because what happened was, in this last few years, I mean, I will tell you, it's been over the last probably 10 or more years in nursing. What had happened was I was walking in, getting a report, and I would hear in my head, you need to go and check on so-and-so, their blood sugar. And I'd look at the nurse and I go, what was so-and-so's blood sugar? Oh, it was like, 80 something at 4:00 this morning. I'm like, I got to get them out to the hospital. And they're like, what? They're fine. I'm like, got to go. And I would run down, check them. And sure enough, I have a patient that's on their way out. And as I'm doing everything to bring the blood sugar back out, I'm calling 911. And that was happening a lot. Or I'd get that patient that it was like, I would just feel something was wrong. I'd walk in right before that something major would happen. So the abilities were coming in, the medical intuitive was coming in. And that's when I knew nursing had to leave.
I love that. You felt that and you saw that coming in you, like transition. I remember when I met you at the Lisa Williams, when we did the mentorship, and it was that 5 days that we did in Texas. That was so much fun. And I remember it was a lot of fun. I do remember you contemplating leaving at that time. And that was like 2017, I think. Yeah. Or was it 16? It was 2016.
16. 16.
Yeah, it was the year my son passed. I remember I jumped right into that mentorship right after he passed. It was my saving grace. But I do remember like you even contemplating leaving then. And I remember feeling your energy and just thinking, this woman's amazing. I love her energy. I can tell you were a healer. I love that you were a nurse. Like, it was just like, you were just, it was like I knew your soul. I felt that. It was so open and so loving. And I love that.
Because I felt like I wanted to crawl under the nearest chair or rock and never come out when I was there.
You were so amazing that week. I remember you read for me in one of the practice circles.
I had the blindfold on when I read for you.
And you brought my son through, and I cried. I remember.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
That week for me was, I will tell you what, I was doing hundreds. By that time, I'd done over 3,000 readings, all free, offering them on Facebook because I'd had some other mentors prior to Lisa. And when I walked in that week, it was like, I didn't know who I was. I couldn't do this. It was like, I was thinking, I'd go to read in the morning and I'd get nothing. I'd read in the afternoon and I was a rock star. And the next day would start, it would, but I needed somebody else to tell me they had confidence in me because I couldn't believe in myself.
And then I watched you just take off. Like, you became one of her master teachers. I was like so impressed. And I really wanted to become one of her master teachers, but I just wasn't ready. I was still doing my grief. You never might see I'm teaching a lot right now. And that's kind of my new direction. Who knows? I might become a master teacher. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But
when you're ready,
I remember watching you.
I do the interviews, the initial interviews. So call me.
There we are. You're in.
Yeah, I've loved watching your career take off. It's been great. I love watching everybody grow and learn and become, something. I love doing that. I think, to me, I like to support all of my mediumship community. Like, I'm there to support everybody. You know, I want to see everybody do amazing, do awesome. And it makes me so happy when I see people succeed, and like you have. And that's just like such a great feeling to see somebody and you watch them when they first like were beginning to jump out, you know, because that was when I was beginning to jump out. I had been doing readings for a year, you know, but like very limited at my crystal store. I was very nervous. And after that, you know, workshop, I really threw myself into mediumship, like just it was my grief. My grief, it was the way I got through my grief was just the readings. I was doing, you know, tons. And just watching you and other people from our mentorship, just watching you guys inspired me, you know, a lot.
You know, and doing readings can be very healing, right? You know,
Yes.
I mean, giving and sharing the energy of the spirit world, bringing through loved ones as a medium. Yep. I know because we feel them too. We're connected with them too, so we're receiving, or we can be a part of something really greater than ourselves. So it really does give us a chance to kind of step out of our way, right? Get out of your own way and step into being that medium, raising your vibration. So there's a lot of benefits in our field. It is work, but there are tremendous benefits.
I mean, I got to build a better relationship with my son. You know, and that was important to me because I needed to be close to him. And he works with me. Like, I get to have him when I'm doing the readings, and that was a blessing. And my husband used to say, whenever you go to a workshop, whenever you do readings, you come back so, you know, elated, so happy. So, you know, and that was what I was doing. So he was always paying for my workshops, you know, they're expensive. He was like, you need another workshop. Come on.
Yeah. And they,
you know, but it is healing. It is. I encourage everybody to learn to meditate because that's a way we can build a relationship with our loved ones in spirit. But also it helped me with my anxiety meditation, you know?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I was just accounting this last weekend because I'm the first person to stand up and say, I don't like to meditate. I will tell you, I hate meditation. I will tell you right now, it is, if you tell me to meditate, I'm going to look at you and go, no, don't want to do it. But I'm really good at just switching off, and I call it like dead above from the neck up. You know what I mean? So it's almost like this meditative state. I'm really good at just flipping into that meditative state. And I sat there in awe this weekend because, of course, I'm at this event. I'm there as Lisa's assistant, so I'm not participating like everybody else is, and I'm, you know, running and do whatever needs to be done. And Monday was trance day. You know, it was advanced trance, and I've done trance. I know I'm a trance medium. And I can remember the day started in my three trance guide coming. I'm like, no, guys, come on. No, I can't go in. I can't go in. They're like, we're ready, you know? And of course, the first thing she does that morning is a meditation. And my head's like, my whole body, because I had to keep, when I'm there, I want to do the meditation. I don't want to do them at home, but when I'm there, I want to do it because they're magical, you know? So here I am sitting like this, trying to pay attention, you know? And my whole body goes into complete meditation. My brain stayed there, but the whole body went completely limp and like listened. And I'm like, this is really getting too good at this, that you can like somebody else's body and head kind of merged together. But I thought that is such a cool thing that, you know, and that we get to that point of doing so much meditation that we really can almost on demand go chill, you know, relax, whatever it is. And my body, when it came through, and it just naturally, as she brought everybody out of it, my body just went, oh, we feel so much better, you know, but the brain.
The benefit of trance is relaxing the body, you know, rejuvenation, you know, taking that, you know, power nap, even where you come out of trance and you're all of a sudden you've got all this energy again. So benefits. Well,
I feel like trance is like pretty amazing. And I think I've always done it my whole life naturally, especially when I fly on a plane and I'm crammed in. I just sit there like quietly and I go into a trance, and before I know it, the flight's over. And it's the only way I've ever been able to get through a flight.
There you go. You don't want me to go into trance on a flight, because I'll tell you what, Giuliano or Ari, Arena's going to come through, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I got wisdom for the masses coming through me. They're going to ground that plane right now. Get her off. Straight jacket.
I'm off in another world. I mean, I
Yeah.
love it. I'm in another world.
I go up and another soul comes in, you know, and I just start, I start twitching, and I mean, I look like something's happened, you know, and something else starts speaking, and it's beautiful. I love it, but you don't want it on a plane.
Let's just say hi to some people who are just joining us. We want to say hi to Kathy and Sherry and Maria. We just want to say hello to everybody. We have KB again. Hello, Joanne and Sherry and Joyce. Everyone, welcome to today's show. We have a special guest, DeEtte Ranae, a psychic medium, energy healer, medical intuitive, also, which is amazing. And she has a website. Can you give us your website, please? Just your contact information.
Yeah, I'll type it in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay. It's DeEtteRanae.com. I can also rechange my name up here so people can see it, but I know now that I'm in the thing, I don't think I can.
Renae, right?
It's Ranae. Here, I can put it up there too, darling.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You sure can. You do that.
I
I'll type it wrong. I will type wrong.
There you go.
Thank you.
I can put it up there. That's the benefit of working at the same station, isn't it?
I know. I'm like, you can just come in the back end.
I just come in the back end.
Yes. Perfect.
So can I ask you about teaching? Do you like teaching the most? Do you like doing readings? What are you doing the most of right now? Because I saw on your website that you're teaching a lot. So
I teach a lot.
What do you have time? What are you doing these days? Are you doing readings? Do you still have time to get those done?
Yeah, right now I feel like I'm on a hiatus, honestly, for the last couple of weeks. But I think my body and my soul was getting me ready for Tampa. I'll tell you what, I do a little bit of both, honestly. So, you know, I'm still scheduling readings by Zoom or by phone. So I do those. I do events on the weekends, which really is just a ton of readings. I call them speed readings. You know, anybody that's gone to an event understands that. I usually get the gallery, which is, I love to do that. You know, so that's two different types of readings right there, and in a 6-hour, you know, shift or whatever you want to call it. And I love to teach. I mean, teaching is such a passion, to be there, you know, to watch people transform and their growth, and just to see it is just like mind blowing. I can't tell you what at this point I like more, because just to be part of all of it is just, you know, it goes back to the healer in me. Something, again, I tried to shed. I mean, if you would have told me I was a healer, I went, no, you know what I mean? I had to embrace the healer in me. I had to embrace that, whether I was laying hands on somebody or something was coming out my mouth or I was giving knowledge, it's all really healing. It's all really transforming. So right now, I will tell you what I'm having fun is developing classes. You know, I just developed 2 more classes this last weekend. So, well, 3.
I just want to tell people that you are teaching online, right? So is that right?
Yeah.
So people can learn from the comfort of their own home. Yeah. You know, that works for everyone, right, these days. So
I do it via Zoom for most classes, although I do have a few classes I do in person that I can do in person also. So, but when COVID happened, we had to switch. So I did the switch, and now I do both, and I love it.
Me too. It took me a while to get online, but I with the teaching, honestly, I just started this year because I struggled in the beginning, but I love it now. I love it.
I had no choice. Spirit threw me in it, because literally, y'all know what year 2020 was, right?
Oh,
so I wanted to walk away from nursing, and I was in December 2019, I was getting ready to sign up for my events. There was 32 events for spring. That's a lot of events, plus the nursing. And Spirit told me I wasn't going to do events anymore. And I went, oh, yes, I am. And they went, no, you're not. And I had to fight with my guides, and they agreed to cut them in half. And then they told me which ones to get rid of. And I'm like, okay. So I signed up for 16 events just for spring. February comes, and they gave me you're going to quit your job, and you're not going to do this anymore. And I'm like, okay, I'm just I was doing in-person teaching. I was still had 16 events. I wasn't going to die. And then COVID hit, and those other 16 events naturally got canceled anyway, and money refunded.
Yeah.
And here I get going, I don't have a job anymore when I really could have had some job security. I was forced online. And I mean, I prospered. It was like, okay, here we go. Here's a Zoom account. Here's this, here's that. Change your classes to an online format.
You were needed online.
Yeah.
You were needed. People needed you. Everyone needed a community. We were all at home. People were asking for guidance and help.
People were lonely.
So Spirit was really trying to help out a lot of people with your abilities to direct you.
Yeah, and I love that. I went through something similar where I had been asking people to, I wanted people to book more online and do Zoom readings because I had clients in Sacramento, but I was living in Southern California, and I was coming to Sacramento for 5 days every couple of months just to do readings, and I wanted them to do Zoom, and so it was kind of nice. Like, I had a trip planned to Sacramento, and then we got shut down, and I had to refund probably 5 of the readings, but then the rest of them went on to Zoom, and it just sort of, my business took off during COVID. Like, everybody wanted to do Zoom, and they were okay with not in person. And I thought, that's great. Like, I had been trying to get that forever, and now I do mostly Zoom. Yeah. What were you going to say, Cheryl? Sorry.
I was going to say there was a great need. We were helping to fulfill a need, and that's what, as mediums, we receive that information about times in the world with current events and what have you, about there is a need, and we have to kind of go where we're needed and go where people can reach us. And that's why it was so important that we were all made ourselves available. And so many people, learned about Zoom, and they were really good at reaching out. So I appreciate all my clients and all my new clients that I think as a medium, I really worked hard that year. Maybe you guys did
right?
too.
No,
to be there all the time, as much as we could, to help people, to help them connect and feel secure and grounded and less anxious about what was happening. So that was really important that we were able to provide that guidance. So here we are at the holidays, and we're kind of reminding everyone to breathe and to meditate and laugh, because the holidays, it's very emotional, right? We just got out of a full moon last week. We know the emotions are high around that time, and so what else?
22 portal, and
talk about that.
What did you say that again? I didn't hear you.
12 portal, 12, 22 portal. Yeah,
that's right.
If I'd realized it was a full moon and that, I'd have stayed home. Just so you know.
I enjoy full moons. Full moons to me are the best time every month. It doesn't matter what it is. I have the most, I feel, open connection to spirit. I don't need as much sleep. I have an immense amount of energy, and I get so many things done, and I'm so focused during the full moon. It's like I don't have ADHD anymore. Yeah.
That's very nice.
I try to book a lot of things around the full moon for me. And I know not everybody's like that, but I take advantage of it, like the 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after. So it's a whole week. That is just the best week ever for me. And I love it. And that's when I get the most of my reviews, like where people leave me a 5-star review, was always when I did a reading around the full moon. So not that all my readings aren't good, people. But that's when I get the most.
This is one for 7 weekdays. Those are the ones.
Everybody's gonna be like, I only want to book on her full moon.
That week is going to be busy from now on.
Just you're booked out.
No, but the holidays are tough. Cheryl's right. Like, what are your tips? We'd love to hear that, because we've been talking about this all month, and everybody's got something that I haven't heard, that we've talked to, or just, and I love tips, because I struggle with the holidays because of grief. And I'm sure a lot of people do, but people who don't even have grief still struggle with the holidays because it's overwhelming, all the energy, all the people, especially empaths. What kind of tips do you have? I'd love to hear those.
when you go to empath, I'm always really big on that bubbling up for empaths. I teach it to my grandchildren who are 5 and 3. Bubble up, buttercup. Let's do this right. Sprinkle some fairy dust on it, whatever color you want. And I'm going to tell you, I tell that to adults. I tell that to adults because to have that extra little barrier really kind of helps. But going into the holidays, especially with that grief, I practice and I teach my own clients. You can speak to your own loved ones. I think part of the grief is feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't, they're not here. They're not this. You pray they're there. You hope they're there. You're not really sure they're there. And, whether you're into a mediumship or religion or whatever it might be, no matter what your beliefs are, you still struggle with that, But I will tell you, when it comes to the holidays, I tell people, set that extra chair. My grandparents were more, well, they weren't the most religious people, but you always heard set an extra chair out for Jesus. You know what I mean? Just in case that person came through the door. Well, what's wrong with setting an extra one out for your son or your grandma or your dad or whoever that might be, to know that you're giving them that spot to sit. And then I always tell people, when you're cooking or you're doing that holiday stuff, okay, and any medium knows this. I mean, it's a trick of our trade, and everybody can do that. But say you're practicing, you're missing grandma. Gosh, you just love her, and I really want grandma's sugar cookies. They just have that special flavor, that special taste. Nobody's been able to make them. So, and of course, grandma never wrote the recipe down. Never wrote it down, because real grandmas don't write that stuff down. So go and try to make it. Go Betty Crocker, open up the book, start making a sugar cookie, because the basics are going to be there. But keep your mind open. Start having a conversation with grandma, even if you think it's just in your head. And all of a sudden you're going to hear put mustard in or some strange thing in. Maybe it's almond extract or whatever it is. Put it in. Blindly put it in. Because when you're done cooking the cookies, all of a sudden you're going to go, oh my God, that's grandma's cooking. That's grandma's cooking.
Yeah.
And then when you stop back, you're going to go, wait a second. How did I know it was mustard seed? Or how did I know it was almond? Or how did I know it was rosemary? I didn't. There's no way you could have known that information. And then you're going to realize they were there with you in that kitchen cooking. For the men, if it's all about, cutting wood or this and that, have those conversations, open up. You're going to start to realize those conversations are really fast in your brain. Any medium will tell you. Yeah, well, any medium will tell you. I mean, you guys know this, especially if you're clairaudient, you hear. That's my strongest suit is I hear. Spirit is talking faster than I can. I can ask a question and they're answering before I can ask the full question. And that's how you know it's spirit. That's how you know it's your loved ones, is because they're dynamite fast. They know the question before you ask it. They're going to jump on those words. And that's how you know your loved ones are there. I mean, remember, death is merely a transition of the soul. It's not that they left. They just got rid of the
heaviness.
Terminology.
Yes.
They got rid of the wrinkles. They finally found the perfect wrinkle cream. They just took it off. That's all it was. The soul never left. It's still with you. You just have to remember that you can communicate. And I will tell you, even for people that are listening that are religious, because I struggled with religion my whole life. I mean, I was Lutheran and then Christian and then this. I mean, I think I've been through them all. But I heard recently, matter of fact, last week, that mediumship proves religion. We prove religion.
Oh, I like that.
There's not a religion out there that doesn't believe in the afterlife.
Right?
All of them do. Mediumship proves everybody's religion. And if we're proving your religion, that also means within your religion, you can talk to them too.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. I love that. I like the whole idea about the recipes, because I'm an intuitive cook. Baker, ever since I was a child. And now I'm thinking, I wonder who I was getting this stuff from. I never used a recipe when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. I baked cookies after school. I just knew what to do and how much. And the big thing I used to always hear since I was little, and I still say this jokingly because it's true, is like, you can never have too much sugar.
Exactly.
So who'd that come from in my family? I'm trying to figure out. It must have been on my mom's side, her grandma.
This is a whole new idea, I think, for some people who are new to connecting with their loved ones in spirit, is like I'm sure I can just hear people say, is it really true that they're talking to me? You know, is that really true that they're giving me that recipe? Or is it really true that they're laughing and I'm actually hearing them? And the answer is yes, that's actually a way that they can communicate. You know, they can send us signs, as we mentioned, many ways, you know, sending signs, but that's also them supporting us, giving us that little message, that little intuition, that little nudge of add the seasoning, add that almond, add more sugar. And anytime we hear them laugh, that would be just like them to laugh, right? So we have to almost step into that new belief or that new possibility that that is your loved one connecting with you. So I encourage people to talk out loud to their loved ones if they want. Like when you're driving and you want to talk out loud to them, it's fine. Or when you're at home, it's okay to talk out loud to them, or write a letter to them, you know, write something down, write a card, write a letter. So trying to get it up and out, as you say, try to get it up and out and talk to them.
I love talking to them. I think that's my biggest thing is I talk to my son all the time. I don't say it out loud. It's in my head and he answers me and we have arguments. Now, if I were to say this out loud, people might think I'm crazy when I'm arguing with him out loud. And, you know, my husband does it too with his family and even my son. And I laugh because he actually says it out loud. I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, oh, my mom. You know, but it works.
Well, you know, for anybody that even doubts, and I know we get in our head, we doubt it all the time. But I always ask people, have you ever been driving, you know, you're like on the way home from work. You've driven the same path for how many months, years, okay? It never changes. And then all of a sudden you turn right and you blindly turn right. You don't even know why, but you turn right. Yeah. And you get so far home and all of a sudden you come to and you're like, why am I here? Oh my God, this is taking me an extra 10 minutes or whatever it is. You know, you get home and you're complaining because you wasted all this time. And then you find out, oh my God, there was a major traffic jam or accident or whatever that because you heard, take this, you did it, and boom, there you go. There you go. So, you know, for anybody that doubts that you can't talk to your loved ones, trust me, that's a loved one saying, take a right. For all the people that argued, like I like to argue and went, I'm not taking that right and went straight.
Yeah, I argue with my son all the time.
You know what you do? You end up in the traffic jam, don't you? I argue all the time. Are you kidding me? The guys have been telling me to write a book for like 4 years. You know that book? I don't know if you remember during the week of Texas. Remember, Lisa goes, that book? You have a book you need to write? I'm still fighting with them on that book.
I'm working on one too. Same here. It's hard. It's hard.
When I was driving home, my father said, slow down. There is an accident over that hill up ahead, you know, and that's exactly what happens is it comes out of nowhere, but you trust it. And I started slowing down. Sure enough, there was an ambulance on the other side, the lights, traffic slowed down. So, you know, they're there to support us. Our loved ones are there to support us. They want us to enjoy our lives. They want to be with us, and they're there to tell us, I'm with you. I am with you. So these are great tips. I love the conversation we're having.
And my other thing, you know, if you're open, and I think we should all be open if we want to get signs, because you have to be open, right? They're always there at the holiday. They always make themselves known. You just have to be open for the signs. A lot of times we discount signs and we make excuses for them or reasoning or try to, you know, be logical. But you know what? Life is not logical. It's just not. And
you can give your loved ones code words. You can give your loved ones code words like, hey, if you're going to be around, you know, this Christmas or this week, say root beer. I want to hear root beer. Give your loved ones a code word. Whatever. I mean, don't make it Christmas tree or turkey or anything like that. Don't make it simple. Make it crocodile, whatever.
Yeah.
That word will show up on that day. You will be shocked to go, whoa, what did you just say? Like, why would you hear crocodiles? I mean, if I'm in Wisconsin, I say I want to hear the word crocodile for my sister, and all of a sudden somebody at Christmas says it. Trust me, I'm not in the state of crocodiles, you know, and it might be they're watching, the Tampa Gator. What's the gator? Well, it's a crocodile. It's gonna come up. Your loved ones will respond.
It does. They live, or they might show up as an orb in your pictures. You know, and you weren't even trying to get an orb, and all of a sudden there's like these orbs in your pictures. That's one way
Exactly.
that spirit loves to show up. There's a lot of
Mhm.
ways that they show up with a gift. How did your
Yeah.
husband know exactly what you wanted? Like somebody
Mhm.
put a little, like, because like if you're like my husband, he never knows and he never gets like anything that I would want. And if he were to get me something I wanted, it would be like, okay, spirit helped. I'd know that.
Right.
Because there's no way he'd
Right.
know. No offense. Sorry, Paul. I love you.
Well, I have a habit, but I
We,
think I use my spidey senses because I tend to get those presents and they go, I didn't tell anybody I wanted this.
yes.
I'm like, I'm cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't do gifts really in our house. We buy for everybody else and we go out and we spend money on ourselves on that day, special day. But
Oh, that's perfect.
if right, I know you can't go wrong there. But if he were to buy me gifts because he doesn't know, that's just the way my husband is. He's the best husband in the world. And he's the sweetest guy in the world, but that's not his thing, gift buying, right?
Mhm.
But if he were to buy me something, I would know it was my son.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's awesome.
I
I love
mean, you
that.
have to be realistic. If your husband's like mine and you get a gift and it's everything you ever wanted, it's somebody in the spirit world that helped out.
Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. I love it. I think
Well,
I'm going to use that this year because we said no gifts. Well,
Yeah.
this is what fine for the children.
That's what we're doing. And a
It's
white
great,
elephant
and I got
gift.
grandchildren, so I bought for everybody, including my mother, because some days, kidding, Mom, if you're watching. So if I get a gift back, I'm going to say it's from my sister, because
Yeah.
we said
Well, you know
absolutely
what?
no gifts.
I did. We're combining families. So my nephew got married. And so we're doing Christmas at their house.
Mm.
And her family's coming and my family's coming and we're all going to combine together. And I'm really excited. I like her family. I feel like she's really one of our family, right? That happens sometimes. The two of them are perfect for each other. So they said, let's do the white elephant gift because we don't really know her family. Well, I looked up the rules and you're only allowed to buy like one gift. And I thought that was kind of cheesy. So there's, I think, about 14 of us. So I'm buying 14 gifts. And I'm going to break the rules and everybody's going to get a gift and they get to trade around or whatever they want to do.
Oh,
I hope they don't watch my show so they won't know, but she does see my Amazon account. So she might be on to me. And then then we're buying for the baby. So my little nephew, he's 2. So we're very excited. He's the second great grandchild for my mom and for our great nephew and right. And then my brother's daughter is 9. And so I'm giving her a gift too. So we're just buying for the kids. But I'm having fun buying all these like fun gifts.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going to, but they'll grab whoever wants it will grab them, right?
Right? Exactly. And I think that's perfect. It's absolutely
and
perfect.
they're not bad gifts. They're good gifts. And I feel like Spirit's helping me. I really do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
It's fun.
Another tip for healing through the holidays is really maybe doing something different this holiday to honor your loved ones. Whether we mentioned light a candle, or I had a client that she created an altar for her loved one, or I know another client that she's wearing her mother's ring, her departed mother's ring, just to celebrate them. It's not about the sadness, it's about knowing that they too like the holidays, right? So it's like trying to do something different, whether it's looking for signs, asking for the crocodiles, drinking the root beer, or what have
right?
you.
I like dancing in the kitchen.
What's that?
my sister would dance in the kitchen to Journey. Why not?
Whatever, that's why I feel like this Christmas we're doing something different and combining the two families. And I'm excited because honestly, and I'm sure a lot of people are like this, my son passed. This is our 7th Christmas without him. And to be honest, the last 6 Christmases, well, the first 5 were quite traumatic. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm a crying mess for the whole month usually. Yeah. It's just so hard. I mean, even talking about it, I get teary-eyed. And then last year we decided to go to Vegas and spend it with in the casino because we like to gamble. and my nephew lives there, and we had a really fancy dinner in the casino that we loved, and that was amazing. That was a great Christmas. And then this year we're combining the families, and we're seeing how that goes. And I'm really, really excited for Christmas this year. So this is 7th Christmas without him, and it's the first time I'm excited because I'm a Christmas lover until he passed away. And then it was just like Christmas just went downhill, you know? So I'm excited this year, and I love that. And can I just share? I had a picture painted of my son from an artist that I absolutely adore who did the murals at my crystal store back in 2015. And he actually met my son. They weren't friends or anything, but they met, right? And so he lives in Puerto Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rico now. And I sent the ashes to him, and he painted my son's portrait with his ashes. And I just got it 2 days ago. And I mean, so it's huge. It's 3 feet tall by 2 feet wide. So I feel like he's our centerpiece, and I'm bringing him to SoCal with us.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Gorgeous. I'm like, he gets to come. He's going to spend Christmas. I'm going to be the freaky mom who puts him up next to the Christmas tree and lets everybody.
I love that. I love that.
I know. I'm like, they're going to have to deal with it. He's going to be sitting there having Christmas with us. And I might just put a chair out for him and put the picture in the chair.
You should.
I just might.
I think that's a fine idea. Kelley, can you post Sherry's comment? Sherry Posset, can you?
Yes.
She made ornaments with her daughter's picture. They look like small wreaths made with stripes of one of her skirts that she saved for 31 years. So,
I love this. That is beautiful, Sherry. Beautiful.
I keep seeing, I can't think of the name. Kelley, when you were talking, and I never met your son, obviously, but I keep seeing Risky Business. You know, the white shirt coming out dancing. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I keep seeing it. Like for Christmas, that's what everybody needs to wear. It's like their whitey tighties and their white shirts and come out dancing with socks and having a blast. I don't know what that's about, but there you go.
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is my husband is from South Africa, and they wear Speedos there. And, you know, I have California kids, and, you know, California, they don't wear Speedos. And so we lived at the beach, and we were at the beach a lot. And one year my husband drops his shorts, and he's got Speedos on, and he's wearing his Ugg boots, and he's chasing my son and my nephew down the beach with his Speedos on, like all like crazy. And they're just like, we don't know you. And they were like 14 and 15 or something. And it was just so funny because they were like humiliated. And he always said he was going to do that to him. And they were like, don't. So yeah, maybe that's what you're seeing, because he was like, they look like underwear.
Yeah, maybe it's going back to the whitey tighty underwear. Everybody show up in Speedos. Yeah.
So now we buy Speedos as a joke in the family for my husband. We all buy him Speedos, and they don't fit him, so he can't wear them.
You know, isn't it great how Spirit works though? Because they're giving me something like a movie that I can relate to give to you. And you're like, no, that's not what it means, you know? And
no, totally get that picture. It was the big joke in the house.
Yeah. So I always love how Spirit works. I love how they work.
Me too. Well, I love everybody's ideas. I think honoring our loved ones and including them in our Christmas is important. You know how we do it like Day of the Dead, where people put pictures up, and that is like beautiful to me. You know, I love it when my son's friends that will send me pictures of their family's Day of the Dead, you know, whatever that's called, that I can't get the words out of my mouth, but you know what I mean. And my son's pictures included, you know, I love that, you know, and I think why can't we do the same thing for the holidays? Let's bring them along, have a picture of them at the table, whatever it is, of all our loved ones. So they're kind of with us, you know, and if we're all like, if you're sober, great. But if you drink, have a drink for them, you know?
Right. Have a toast.
Cheer them on, maybe sparkling cider, whatever it is. But because they're there with us. So let's remind ourselves that they're there with us. Let's not talk about them, because that's the thing about grief. People are afraid to talk about, you know, your loved one. Like they're afraid they're going to make you cry. They're afraid to tell the funny stories, you know. But it's like, that's all I want. I want to talk about him. And I might cry, but that's okay to get a little teary-eyed. it's a happy tear,
Right.
you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that that's the hard thing. Grief in Christmas and holidays is even like the holidays are already hard enough as it is, especially if you're sensitive. But if you're grieving, it's even harder. You know,
Exactly.
doesn't matter who it is. It's just a difficult time.
And
So it doesn't have to be.
practicing kindness and grace,
Yes.
during this holiday season, because we're not sure who's going through what, right? We really don't know, what's going on in someone else's life. So really just taking that moment to, kind of slow down and recognize that we're all here on this journey and we're all opening up, we're all listening more. We're all paying attention. We're all even believing in a higher power or believing in our own higher power as a healer, an intuitive, a co-creator of the universe, that this kind of can, this time of year can bring us closer together, even in our grief. It can bring us, or anyone that's having a hard time, a difficult time during this season, just, pay attention that, even smiling at someone can be very healing, right? Just smiling and opening the door for someone can be a tremendous amount of effort.
Exactly.
So,
Beautiful.
I love that, here Krista says she does a fireball shot for her son, and MKV Vuki also does a fireball for their daughter. And you know what? I do Jaeger bombs for my son.
Do you?
Yes.
I flew to Ireland and had a Guinness for my sister. Does that count?
Yes. I mean, we gotta do what we gotta do. There's a story though behind my Jaeger bombs for him, and that's why I do those. On my birthday, the year before he passed, I had we were doing Jaeger shots, my son and I, and my best friend, and my bottle was gone, and I only had one shot. My friend only had one shot, and I was like, "What the heck?" And so I blamed my son, and he just took the blame and went out and bought me a bottle and brought it back. He went to the liquor store, him and his friend. And then he says, now go look at the cameras and see who really drank that Jaeger. And it was my daughter, who was like, not old enough to drink. And it was her and all her friends who downed the rest of my bottle. But she let him take the blame, and he did so. And I just love that about him. So I always do the shot now, and I think of that, like, here's to you, son. Because, he was just respectful, and he just said, whatever, Mom, let me get you a bottle. Because I was like, we only got one shot, Desiree and I, So, yeah. Not that we're big drinkers, but it was just funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. So, well, Cheryl, it is getting to the end here.
Yeah, I know. It went by quick, Kelley.
It did.
We went there. We were talking about healing through the journeys, and then we were laughing and
we sidetracked about a few times, and I love that. Yeah. I had a great time. Thank you for coming on the show. I love talking to you, and we need to talk after the show for sure. So definitely. I will reach out to you.
Can you share your website again? Yeah. Share your website again, or DeEtte Ranae?
It's DeEtte.
DeEtte Ranae.
It's okay. You know what? My name I put it up on the screen.
Thank you.
I'm so awful, guys. I'll just put it up there. Anyway, yeah, there you go. There's my website.
Thank you.
And you have a show also on the same station.
Tell everybody about your show. Yeah. What's it called and what day is it on and everything?
Oh, School Through Spirit, and it's on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. So Central Standard Time. I also have a second show. It's called Unfiltered with DeEtte, DeEtte Ranae, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I do nothing but readings.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that. Good for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. We enjoyed you. You're so fun to talk to. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Great to see you, and wishing you a happy holiday as well.
And everybody.
Yes, wishing everyone a happy holiday. You're watching Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. We'll be back next week at the same time, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We hope to see you here. Thank you all for being with us. We hope we helped share some of our wisdom, our tips about healing through the holidays. And really, we want to hear from you. So you can always go to be part of our community at seeingbeyondradio.com. Sign up for our mailing list. We'd love to hear from you, or you can email us a question if you have a question at questions@seeingbeyondradio.com. But for everyone, just enjoy the holiday season. We breathe through it, laugh if you can, share your kindness with others. We'll see you back here next Wednesday. Have a beautiful evening.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.